Damn, it's raining hard outside. I just finished watching Predator Killer of Killers, and I was really surprised with the quality of the fights in this. My favorite of them being the fight that took place in Japan. And that's the one I'll be covering. To give a basic rundown, two brothers were pitted against each other, Kenji and Kyosho. Kyosho ended up winning, and Kenji was kicked out of the clan. Now, he's back for revenge on the day his father dies. Basic plot, pretty much. He slashes his way through 5 guards. Kenji makes the first move, grabbing the sword and shoving it through the armor stand to attack his brother. But this works to Kyosho's advantage, and he uses it as a shield. He goes left, right, tries to go for a stab this time, but Kyosho traps the blade with the armor stand and twists it. Kenji brings out the wakizaishi, going for the head, but Kyosho blocks it with his wrist guard. However, his brother wasn't raised like him. He doesn't obey that same code of honor, and he catches Kyosho off guard with a headbutt. Kenji lets his brother get up, and they face off blade to blade. No more dancing around it now. Kenji jumps in for a quick slash to test how fast his brother can react. Notice how he goes for the blade. He's trying to figure out how Kyosho fights. He's not going for the kill yet. Kyosho runs in, but Kenji parries the strike, getting behind his brother, blocks the desperate strike, sweeps the leg, kicks him back. Notice how he didn't go for this open strike as well. He's still testing the waters with his brother, wanting to know how he fights. Kyosho is able to get his second wrist guard, but Kenji throws two kunai. First for his brother to block, and the second one being the only important one, knocking the helmet back. He's not giving his brother the chance to suit up. Kenji does the same with the shoulder pad. Now the armor is pretty much spread out around the whole room, and Kyosho has to face him off with what he only has on him. Kyosho draws his sword, but he still hasn't learned his brother doesn't fight by his same code of rules, as he brings out a kusarigama. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Don't quote me, I don't know much about weapons. Kenji swings the right parry, comes around with another swing. This time it's got more momentum though, so that parry isn't gonna work. It wraps around the blade, letting Kenji pull Kiyoshi in, but he gets overpowered, letting Kiyoshi get a strike. You can see he's starting to understand how his brother fights, prepare for the unexpected, not let himself get surprised. Kyosho goes for the stab, but Kenji catches it with the sickle, pulling his brother's arms down, breaking the guard with a kick, letting him disarm Kyosho, returning the favor from earlier with the armor stand. But now, Kyosho is in close, and Kenji has a medium-range weapon. Kyosho sidesteps the first, ducks the second, grabs the chain, reeling in Kenji. Once again, overpowers his brother. The strength difference is becoming more apparent now, since Kyosho is understanding how Kenji fights. Kyosho runs up to retrieve his sword, and Kenji uses the chain to pull himself up. Blocks the overhead with the sickle, waits until Kyosho puts all the weight into the sword, then misdirects it, letting him get back that distance so he can form a new plan of attack. Since his brother has adapted to his weapons, he starts using his superior hand-to-hand and agility. He dodges the wild swing, getting Kyosho's sword stuck in the pillar, lands a clean kick to the chest, sending him into the next room. Kyosho's got no sword, so now he's on the back foot. He runs to get some distance and begins retrieving his armor. First the shoulder pad, slides on the legs to get the shin guard, flips to get the chest plate, and finally puts the helmet on and picks up a sword. Now, no more tricks and surprises, just blade to blade. Kenji is actually able to overpower Kyosho here. Since Kyosho's had to be on the run and the back foot this entire fight, he's losing that strength advantage as his brother's endurance wears him down. Kenji blocks the recovery, knocks his brother's desperate block, and switches up the grip to surprise Kyosho. But Kyosho is prepared this time for his brother's off-the-wall kind of style, pushing him off. Blocks the left swing, but Kenji knocks his guard down. Kyosho slides the stab off his blade, blocks the wild swing, blocks the overhead, but doesn't account for the guard breaker here, and he has to block the next blow with both wrist guards, leaving him wide open for a clean kick, shattering his guard, and that is game. However, Kenji didn't account for the damage he did to the railing with that kick. Kyosho falls. However, he really doesn't get a chance to wrap his head around this as Blade makes his entrance. He goes for the charge and Kenji ducks, running for the exit, using a smoke bomb, letting these guys deal with him while he gets a chance to catch his breath. But that heat vision is no joke, he found him immediately. Kenji dodges and makes a break for it again. We saw this when he fought his brother. He's gonna figure you out before he fights you. He's not going in wildly swinging. Also, credit to these guys for actually trying to fight the invisible Blade, even though they died immediately. Kenji breaks through the roof and gets shot at by one of these flying disc bombs. He hides under the overhang and does what a ninja does best, wait and strike when you least expect it. Stabs the foot, pulls Blade down, continuing to make a dash for the city exit, using the agility he showed off against his brother to gain distance, but Blade is still locked onto him. Then he jumps the roof using the same trick he did against his brother, throwing two kunai, but the second one is the only important one. Blade blocks the first and gets stabbed through his tech gauntlet with the second. Kenji finally gets out of the city, and that's where he's met by his brother. And I'm gonna call a little bullshit here because Kenji's got his ninja shit, so he could survive that. Kyosho just felt like a solid 8 stories. He goes for the overhead, goes for a second. Kenji returns the favor, but Kyosho steps back with Kenji doing the same to block his brother's recovery. Pushes him back, slides the blade against his sword, and slams him into the tree, telling him to be quiet because Blade is a far more important enemy at the moment. Blade comes down with a Sephiroth, but Kyosho blocks the fist, though he should have blocked the blades. Kenji pulls him off, dodges the spear, and climbs it to make Blade lose his distance. Knees off the helmet, slams down the back. But Blade's armor just tanks it, not a scratch on it. Kyosho and Kenji run back to recover, but Blade pulls a scorpion. Wraps the metal blade around the tree, pulls it through, bringing in Kenji and grabbing him by the throat. He tries to take Kyosho out with one of his disc bombs, but Kenji uses his Wakazaishi, making him miss. Blade slams him into the ground, stabs Kenji, once again blocking the fist, not the blades, letting Blade get a clean shot in on his shoulder. But when he moves in for the headshot, Kyosho comes back, stabbing Blade straight through the chest, letting Kenji recover. Parries the claws, blocks the overhead, ducks the grab, blocks the wild overhead, and does the same with the claws. Blade presses him with the katana, but Kyosho learns from his brother, waiting until Blade puts his entire weight into the sword, slides his swords down, ducks the recovery, but gets knocked back by this blow he hid behind his initial wild slash with the claw. Kenji tries to get up to help his brother, but Blade hits him with the scorpion again. But when he pulls in, gets surprised by his own disc bomb, which sends him flying into a tree, forcing him to go invisible and lick his wounds. The brothers get up and begin to get into position, acting as if they want to finish their original duel, tricking Blade into staying in his invisible mode. They do him like how Hirohiko did Sengoku. Gotta say, Blade was a huge improvement over Shockwave who fought the Vikings. Even if he still was kinda stupid and had his moments, it's still better than getting killed by your own weapon. With that, I'll end it here for today. Gotta say, this movie was great and I loved watching it. Let me know, guys, if you want to see more videos like this in the future. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.